Hey man, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm putting you on the other side. I'm so used to where you're supposed to go, and this thing just automatically flips us sometimes.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's all good. Um, so yeah, we're this is a pre-recorded. I just want to make sure people know we decided to do this and make sure it goes up. For our marketing community. Even though we are not live, we are actually going to be in Las Vegas when this airs. So everything is great. But I also think this is a topic that we just didn't want to wait on because we think it's really, really important. So let's jump in. Last week we talked about what not to automate. Okay. So this week we're going to talk about the 9 things that not only could you, but you should be automating. There are things that we believe that you can automate that you really shouldn't automate. So we want to talk about the 9 things that not only could you actually automate, but you actually should be. So talk about this a little bit, Carter, because I know, when we talk about automation, uh, a lot of things that we do is we kind of say this is going to help the business owner. This is why we think you should automate. Blah blah blah. All about the owner. But talk a little bit about the customer side.
Yeah, you can thank your dentist for this, but there's an expectation now that consumers have that they're going to get certain communications along the course of doing business with you. So they're all helpful to the consumer. They're all things that the consumer not only expects but appreciates, and um, they're not difficult to set up. And from a standpoint of like what it gets you, what you're able to do for your customer. If your customer knows that things don't slip through the cracks, if your customer feels like they understand at any given point, if you were to ask them, do you know what's about to happen next? Like in the process of working with you, do you know what's about to happen next? If that customer can answer that question, then you have set a reasonable expectation with them and you have put their mind at ease, and they know that they can count on you and trust you to do what you say you're going to do. And that is money in the bank every time. That is such a relief to a customer to know they don't have to, well, I didn't hear from him, so I don't know if they're coming today or not. I guess I need to find their phone number, give them a call, and just double check. Right? I mean, that's such a hassle. And it adds this we could call it transactional debt if you wanted to. Okay, like it's this feeling that I've got to do some of the heavy lifting in order to get service from you, that you're putting me in the awkward position of having to manage you to get something done for me. And that's never a position that we want to put our customer in. So automating it, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, as much as this is about the customer, it's also about the business, because most businesses, if they have to do what we're about to talk about manually, we all know that these are the areas that are going to get missed. These are the cracks in the system. These are the places where people slip through. These are the places where, there's bumps in the road in terms of the customer experience with your business. So automating it helps to make that a lot smoother and create a lot less friction between you and your customers.
No, I think that's perfectly said. And it was funny as you were talking about this. Just this morning, I was listening to the news, and they had a section about moving companies, how people are getting just ripped off with moving companies, and a lot of people over the last couple of years with this pandemic have actually moved. I'm amazed how many people have moved
Yeah.
over the last 2 years. And one of the things that they talked about, which I thought was really, it just blew my mind, that moving companies, I mean, they show up like a day late. I mean, they're expecting them to be there on a certain day, and then they're a day late. And there may, they're thinking 3 people are going to come, and one guy shows up, and so they're having to help them pack the truck. Stuff like that is just crazy. So the things that we as humans tolerate, because we have something scheduled that we just shouldn't tolerate. And that's your customer. So when people say, well, how good do I have to be? Well, show up on time, send a couple of reminders, let people know who's coming. I mean, that's all you have to do to outperform so many other companies. So, it was crazy. I literally watched that today and went, oh my gosh. I mean, the service that some companies are getting, the lack of service, I should say, some companies are getting away with because people are so stressed and whatever right now. It's ridiculous. So let's just jump in real here. Let's talk about those 9 things to automate your business. And Carter, I'm going to really let you talk about a lot of these because I know you deal with automation for us. So we're just going to jump in, and I may have a few things to say here and there, but here we go.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just say at the outset here that all of these 9 things that we're talking about, good companies, all the good companies do these things. All the best companies automate these things. Okay. So just as we're looking at these things, be thinking about your systems, asking yourself the question, do we do these things adequately? Right? Is there good coverage for every one of these things in our business? The way you know that is if ask the question, who is in charge of this, making this happen? And are they doing it every single day that it needs to be done? And if you don't have answers to those 2 questions, then this is a prime area where you need to consider automating it. Even if you've got somebody who's doing it and doing it effectively, it's still a good target for automation because it's going to free up a really good employee to be able to be more effective in things that can't be automated. All right. So here we go. First one, appointment reminders. This is, again, right, thank your dentist for needing to do this. Everybody wants to know, are you really coming? Right? So they schedule, especially in an industry like our chimney and venting clients and those of you watching in that industry, oftentimes you're booked out 4 weeks, or even longer than that, some of you. A lot happens in 4 weeks, and a customer needs to, especially in the life of a customer, it's not like that customer is sitting there just waiting on you for 4 weeks. Life happens, they're going on. There's kids and schools and churches and things that, happen every day for them. So 4 weeks go by and they're starting to wonder, when was that appointment again? And they're checking their calendar and they're wondering, I haven't heard anything from this company. So appointment reminders along the process of that 4 week period is the only way that you're going to reassure your customer that you haven't forgotten about them, that you are planning on being there, and that in fact it's so important to you that you want to confirm with them that it's actually going to happen. So when we talk about appointment reminders, the next thing to talk about is then appointment confirmations. So after they get that initial appointment reminder saying, we've got you scheduled for this date, this time, just a reminder that we're going to be there, and here's some tips on preparing for the appointment. Now you're getting a confirmation message, usually 1 or 2 days before the appointment, that says, hi, Mrs. Smith, just want to confirm with you. Just click the link below, and this could be a text message or an email. Just click the link below to let us know that this date and time is still going to work for you. Okay, this is going to clear up all of the no-show issues, all of the, oh my gosh, I forgot, all of those kinds of things when you do this consistently and send out these confirmation messages. It lets the office know things are proceeding according to plan, and it lets the customer know the same thing.
It's awesome.
All right. Anything? I'm sorry, are you going to add something?
No, I think that's awesome. You're really looking out for your customer and sealing the deal. Every one of these looks out for your customer and seals the deal. The other thing that it does that a lot of business owners don't understand, if there is some kind of a conflict, they now say, okay, I need to call the office, and that's another thing. So you eliminate your no-shows.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this is all marketing. It may not seem like it. It feels very operational when we talk about it. It's the practical things of communication in your business and figuring out how to structure your business in a way to deliver on the promise of what you said you'll do. How is that related to marketing? Well, very simply, marketing is a promise that we'll do what we say we do. If you don't keep that promise, you've blown every chance of people believing your marketing. So you've got to do it, and fulfilling the promise is what marketing really truly is about. So, all right, on to the next one. The tech on the way. I love these, and I've heard so many stories from home service businesses from all different industries who say when they started doing this, they noticed that their tickets went up, their ability to charge more for what they do, but also people accepting estimates. It doesn't make sense. Like sending a tech is on the way email, and I mean by a tech on the way, it's like, hi, Mrs. Smith. My name is Robert, and I'll be your technician today. I'll be headed your direction, and I'll be there. Google Maps says it'll be about 35 to 40 minutes. See you soon. With a picture of Robert so that Mrs. Smith knows exactly what Robert looks like when Robert shows up at her door. This builds trust. Trust builds relationships, and relationships fuel money. So that's the reason that people started seeing an increase in the amount that they were able to charge and the amount of the estimates that they were seeing people say yes to, simply because the homeowner felt comfortable with this person coming into their home. They felt prepared for what was coming. And I just can't say enough about this. It's a simple thing to implement, but letting the customer know that someone's on the way, I think is really a must.
And I love the fact that, people who include pictures of the text, because it's one of those things, when you've got your wife at home and she's waiting for somebody or you're waiting for somebody, if you have a picture that you can match with the person that's coming to your home, then you're like, oh, okay, this is great. It's just a trust. That's what I tell people all the time. Anytime you can build trust, that is what you want to do. And that's a trust factor. You're sending this person who is trustworthy, certified, you know, just has experience, whatever, to their home. And I just think that to me is a no brainer. Absolutely
Yeah.
should be. Yeah.
Get out of the way of your salespeople being able to do what they do by just bridging the trust factor there.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is, and you'll notice that all of these go kind of sequentially through the order of the typical service experience that your customer has, right? We started with the appointment reminders. That's before the appointment ever happens. All right. So now we're through to the appointment actually happening. The tech is on the way. The tech arrives. The tech does the job. Now what? Right. So how did we do? Right. It's asking for the permission of the consumer to share feedback about how we did the job. That shows people that you care about and you're monitoring the quality of your service, and you want to make sure that you haven't missed an opportunity to make something right or to make a customer happy. And so just a simple thank you so much for letting us serve you today. If you wouldn't mind taking a minute just to share some feedback with us or leaving us a review online, click here to get started. It'll just take you a minute or two, right? So a lot of people aren't going to leave reviews. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do this. It means that the few who do leave you reviews are going to be gold for your business. Everybody knows that the more reviews you have, the more you win. So the more business you win, and the better you appear in relationship to your competitors in online search results. So it's crucial to have that. What's that?
No, I mean that's so true. Even though I've got people, I talk to people that are like, reviews don't matter, reviews don't count, and I'm just like, I'm just not going to try to change your mind. I mean, they do, but yeah, okay. It's like saying clean don't matter. I don't need electricity. I really don't. I don't need to change my filters. That's just I'm wasting money. I mean, there's all these things that people have their minds made up, and I'm just not about trying to change somebody. But it's like everything we read, reviews matter. They just matter.
This is one of the biggest opportunities I think that we miss as business owners is getting all the reviews that we can possibly get. You've got to throw a really wide net in order to snag a few fish with this strategy. in order to do it effectively. But you've got to be consistent in asking for reviews and letting people know that this is something you care about and wanting to make sure that they have a chance to weigh in with their feedback. So automating it to me is the only solution. Otherwise, you're gonna get out of the habit. You're gonna try to start the habit and not stick with it. Everybody knows the best intentions, the beginning of the year resolutions to get more reviews this year, and then by March this time of year, it peters out and nobody's doing it anymore. So automating it is really one of the only ways I know of to make sure that it just happens without you. And so definitely consider doing that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Estimate follow-ups. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, this one's really rubber meets the road. So you've done the appointment. The customer said, okay, I've got your estimate, but I really need to think about it. I need to talk to my spouse. We move on as business owners. We move on to the next sale. We move on to the next appointment, the next opportunity. And if nobody's really watching, there's a lot of money in these invoices. I mean, for most businesses, it's millions of dollars. And what we've realized is that just by simply automating a follow-up process of reaching out consistently until you've heard from a customer one way or the other about what their intention is with regard to the estimate, you're missing out on all of the money that you could be bringing into your business as actual business. So automating this is crucial. It's also another one of those areas that when things get crazy busy in the busy season, nobody's thinking about this. And so it's a real missed opportunity. Following up on estimates equals money in the bank. And we've successfully helped dozens of our clients be able to close, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, literally. And for some of them, even more than that, just by automating, setting in place an automation that follows up on open estimates.
Yeah, it's just absolutely, absolutely critical. This is an interesting one for me. So let's talk about annual appointment scheduling.
This would be, some people call it shifter lifter. That's what we used to call it with our retention engine product. Some people call it forward scheduling. In almost every industry, though, there's the need to see a customer again, whether there's warranty work to be done or some kind of need for annual service in order to keep the equipment or the appliances in good working order. So just reminding a customer that it's time to get that scheduled, and that if they do it now, they can avoid the rush. They can avoid the crunch time when appointments are scarce and they may not get seen before they're ready to start using their appliance for the year. So scheduling early is always a great idea. It also helps level out cash flow, and automating that process in your business generates just a lot more cash and a lot more consistency for cash flow in your business.
And this also comes, to me that once you do your annual appointment setting, you can also do the annual reminders that they've already scheduled. I mean, that goes back to number one. So this kind of is a cyclical thing in how you do it. So you just want to kind of throw that in. So warranty reminders for service. One of the things, because I have a unit, a stove that I bought probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago now. And so I get a warranty reminder for service, and I bought it from one of our clients. That you would think that that's what I would do. But I get that every year. And so that's a really good thing for me because I bought a new unit and, I keep my warranty up by doing that. So that's just my own personal story. But as a business owner, I would think you would want to reach out to people that have bought from you in order for them to keep their warranty in place. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Again, it's one of those, are you going to make your customer responsible for reaching out to you to spend money with you? Or are you going to take control of that situation and say, Mrs. Smith, it's time for that warranty? I mean, you spent a lot of money on that appliance, and we don't want your warranty to lapse simply because you forgot in your busy life to get your warranty service scheduled. So here's your reminder. Let's get something on the books. And,
Perfect.
customers actually love this. They really appreciate the fact that you're looking out for their investment. You're tending to their best interests in the relationship. So this is a no-brainer.
Well, and if you don't realize how quick a year can go, again on the news this morning they were talking about COVID. That everybody, when we locked down, we thought it'd be 2 weeks, and then we thought it'd be 2 months, and here it is in 2 years.
Yeah.
And so a year goes by so quickly, and we're all busy. We got kids, all those things. To have somebody that thinks enough of us to say, "Hey, it's ready for this. Come on, let's get this thing done." It is really it's an advantage to work with a company that does that, because that's one less thing I got to think about, which is always good for me. So special offers, complimentary services. Let's talk about this. This is springtime when we're doing this. So let's talk a little bit about some off-season things that you can do.
Well, this is great. I mean, incentivizing work when you need work is always, it's an old tried and true marketing strategy. Special offers that correspond with your other services, the ones that are like, did you also know that we do blah, blah, blah? You can probably think really quickly of several services that you offer that most of your customers didn't know that you offered. They were surprised when they learned that you also did that thing, and were happy to include it in their service because it meant one less phone call, one less service provider, one less invoice, and everything else. So to be able to combine things and spend less money with one vendor is something that customers really appreciate. So even though you're giving a special offer and thinking you might be losing cash by discounting it, what you're doing is building loyalty with a customer who is now going to stay with you for years, and that lowers your marketing costs to acquire new customers, to replace ones that leave, and it creates a lot of value for those customers who stick with you. They become your best sources of referrals and new business and everything else. So reminding people, did you also know that we do dryer vents, or we also provide this service? And think about doing that now versus waiting until the busy season. And here's some good strategic reasons for doing that makes it more convenient for you, but also may save you a little bit of money if you'll get it done now. So those are all things that can be automated.
Well, and I'll just tell you, we did an addition to our home this last year. It's the first time I've ever had a dryer vent that goes straight up to the ceiling, and vents out the roof. I've always had pretty standard, straightforward dryer vents right out the side of the house. So it's been really easy to just, every time somebody comes and services my stove, they just know they're going to do my dryer vent right there. So, why would I not take advantage of that? I mean, it's crazy. But if I don't know somebody does it, then I'm not going to take advantage of it. So I think that's perfect. It really is a way to shortcut to me as a customer, one less thing that I have to do that year, because that was one of the things they said, when you've got a dryer vent that goes up, you got to make sure and get those things serviced at least yearly, because it's really, really important. So that's what happens when we're recording, even when we're live. I forget to turn one thing off, and here we go. So
we're close to the end.
Do what?
I said we're close to the end, though. This is the last one. Invoice reminders.
Right, number 9.
So this is something that, again, is fairly easy to do, to send out a reminder that an invoice is unpaid, and it's simple, but man, does it affect cash flow. And oftentimes what businesses do, especially in the beginning, is they're so busy doing the work that they're too busy to collect the money. And until they suddenly can't pay employees or pay for supplies, and wheels of commerce grind to a halt, and everybody stops what they're doing, goes to QuickBooks, pulls up all the invoices that are still unpaid, and starts dialing for dollars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's usually what happens. Automating the process just makes sure that cash flow is never interrupted. Customers have a way. If you have a system that allows you to let your customer click a link and pay that invoice online, customers really appreciate the ability to do that these days, to securely pay their bill online. There's very little pushback on doing it that way anymore, and it'll get you paid a lot faster.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, invoice reminders with the ability to pay the invoice online, that's gold.
And I'm just going to tell you guys, y'all need to do this. If you haven't figured out a way to let people pay online, you got to figure that out. I mean, come talk to Carter. I'm just going to tell you, he knows how to do it. But it is the most frustrating thing in the world. I have a bill that has gone to my insurance, and I have tried to pay this bill. It's less than $200 for 2.5 months now. I can't figure out how to pay it. Why? Because I don't have a physical bill. There's nowhere I can figure out where to pay it online. It's the most frustrating thing that, I want to get these people paid, and I can't pay them because I can't figure out a way to pay them. I mean, that's crazy, right? So that's just a no-brainer to me. With today's technology, and used to, we didn't do a lot of payment online because of the PCMI compliance, because you had to
PCI,
take.
yeah,
Am I right with that? PCI, is that what it is?
yeah, PCI, yeah, and
Yeah.
it meant that you had to be responsible for storing your customers' payment information, credit card
Right.
numbers, et cetera, securely on your hardware, your servers, and it opened up all sorts of red tape and compliance issues and some stiff penalties if you were violating that, as well as the potential for fraud or being hacked and having your customers' information stolen. And there's solutions now that all but eliminate the requirements there for most businesses if they follow specific protocols and do it within the systems and the way that they're designed, and makes it a whole lot easier to really collect payments online and never have to be responsible for storing that
Right.
information because of the service that stores it for you.
Right. And that's really the key, is not to set something up where you're not responsible for that compliance. And that can be done these days. So that's a real key with that. So, all right, Carter, thanks very much for going through that. I know that there's some issues with connectivity as we record this. Please just gloss over that. It's okay. The information is there. So, forgive us that. We don't know why. We're at the mercy of the internet sometimes. But let me tell you, if you don't want to look at us, that's okay, because you can now find Spark Live as a podcast. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or your favorite player. And we're going to stay with automation. Look at
Nope,
that.
it didn't change it.
It didn't change it. I told you, isn't that the craziest thing?
That
You
is
sat
so
there and
wild.
watched me do it. So here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna be right back, because I'm gonna go pull this up and come back over here, because I want you to see. I keep telling Carter, I said, y'all think I'm lying, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this right now, and let me see if that will work. Best places to look for automation in your business. That's the weirdest thing.
It
You know what I'm
really
saying?
is.
Sometimes you're just at the mercy of technology, which is why when you use automation, when you use technology, you have to also be able to tweak things as you find, to make sure that you go, okay, now that I know that that's broken, I won't be changing that slide. I'll be making a new one every time. So that's okay. You just figure it out and go from there. But we're at 30 minutes, 12 seconds. We appreciate all of you. Again, we'll be live, I promise, the following week. Be the first one in April. we look forward to that. I'm looking forward to springtime, though I'm not looking forward to mowing, but I will be soon. And y'all have a great week. And for those of you that are at NCSG, if you are watching this, make sure you find us, because we'll be there through, I believe, April the 2nd. So hope to see you guys there. And y'all have a great week. Thank you.